Hey guys, let's talk about slab constructed pottery. Slab construction is a technique where we use flat slabs of clay to make things like a box, a plate or bowl, a tray, platter, different types of vases, any other object that is cylindrical, okay, like a mug. There's another type of box. And finally here is another mug. And you can see I added a really cool texture to my clay to give it a little bit more interest. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to prepare your clay if you are making a box. You cannot just start building a box on day one. We have to prep it and let it dry out a little bit. So first I'm going to start by gently hammering the clay down with my palm, flattening it out. Notice I flipped it over a whole bunch of times. I'm going to roll it out between two yardsticks, but every now and then I am going to take it and flip it because you will notice it will start to stick. So I'm going to roll it, flip it, roll it, flip it. Eventually you're going to get the correct thickness. Notice my box has 6 sides, so I'm going to use a template. I want my box to be square, but I do have rectangular templates as well. So if you want it more of a rectangular box rather than a square box, I do have those. I will use a needle tool and carefully cut around my template, storing all my extra clay. So 1, 2, and 3. Looks like I actually can't fit this again, so what I have to do is take all of my extra clay, roll it into a ball. That's going to have to be re-rolled out with the rolling pin. But these 3 pieces, I need to store them for next time. You may need to take a clay knife to help take it off the mat. This is what I mean by the clay is way too soft to actually build anything. So we need it to be something called leather hard. This piece of clay right here is leather hard. So it has dried out a little bit. It has a lot more strength than the clay that I just rolled out, so it will not collapse as much. And then this piece of clay right here is an example of bone dry clay, which means it's completely dried out. That cannot be molded or carved anymore. So we're looking for leather hard, which still allows us to carve it, mold it if we have to, but it's definitely going to be a lot stronger. So I am just putting paper towel in between each piece. I'm going to wedge my clay. That's kind of just compressing all of the particles of clay together. Kind of hit it on the table a little bit, get it back to that nice flat slab, roll it between the rulers, but making sure you're flipping it. Cutting 2 more, saving my extra clay, wrapping up the ones I cut out, and continuing this process until I have all 6 slabs cut out. Okay. You may notice that you are changing the shape, okay? You can see I still have to cut a little bit of that to be a perfect square, but I will worry about that next time. I'm just going to wrap up my slabs. I'm going to take a plastic bag, put your name with a Sharpie right there on that white part, put your name and your grade. I'm going to put my clay carefully all the way at the bottom. I should be putting my extra clay there, I forgot. Just make sure you put your extra clay too. Get all of the air out, and then that is going to go on your table's tray in the corner, just like that. Then everyone else can fit their projects. Next, we're going to talk about slump mold bowls or trays. If you didn't bring anything in, I have styrofoam bowls that you can put plastic wrap on. You're going to need to roll out a slab, so I'm going to just kind of hammer out the clay, flipping it multiple times in all different directions. Roll it out a little bit, flip it over so it does not stick. I did turn the direction, roll it a little bit, flip it and turn it, roll it a little bit, and continue that process. Gonna have to chop off a little bit there just to do the final roll. I'm going to cut around the bowl, not directly on the edge of the bowl, just enough to overhang. very carefully just pressing the clay into the bowl, being very careful not to poke a hole. It's going to take a little bit of time and use gentle pressure. With either a needle tool or a clay knife, I'm going to cut around the edges. Use a rib tool to smooth it out a little bit. Use my finger to continue to smooth, and a damp sponge to give it that final clean. Now, I'm gonna have to leave this in here until next class, so I'm gonna gently wrap it up with the plastic wrap and put my name in Sharpie. Roll up any extra clay, carve your initials into it, and give it to me to wrap. A stiff slab vase is cool to make. You will have to use your own template, cutting it out. When you open it up, it will be a symmetrical shape. I'm going to need to get a slab rolled out big enough to fit that template. Rolling it out between the two rulers, not forgetting to flip the slab. When I know I have the right size, I will go ahead and cut it out. Save all my extra clay. I'm now going to have to carefully take up this slab and put it on a styrofoam tray with some dry paper towel. You may run into the issue where it really is sticking to the mat, and you may even run into the issue that you might actually tear your clay. That's okay if that happens. Just take all of the clay, roll it back into a ball, and start over. I'm going to actually lay down a piece of dry paper towel before rolling out my clay. Let's see if this works. Still flipping it several times, tracing out my template, removing all my extra clay, and now I can simply just pick up the paper towel. That's the easiest way. Putting it directly on my tray, wrap the dry paper towel around it, and you're going to need to do the same thing. You need that same shape 2 times. You may run into the issue that you simply don't have enough clay. In that case, I'll give you a little bit more. Just roll it back into a ball and roll it out again. Don't forget to flip it, even with dry paper towel. The clay's just gonna want to stick. Right? Even if it is just the tiniest bit too small, we can do a little trick to still make it work. Chop off a piece of the bottom of the slab. I can lay it down right on top of it, smooth it into the clay. So I'm kind of blending the 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to roll back on top of it. So that's just making that slab a little bit bigger. And now I can cut it out into the shape I need. Save all that extra clay. Carefully pick it up and place it on top of your first slab. Wrap it up. Now we're going to need a base. So we would think of a rectangular shape, the same width of my template. Again, if you don't have enough clay, if it's simply not big enough, just ask me for another piece. So just roll it up and add it to the next chunk. So you guys are going to get pretty good at rolling slabs with this project. Alright, so I know I need this width, so I'm going to trace that, cut off the extra bits of clay. Make 2 little marks so I know how wide my slab needs to be. I'm going to use the yardstick, cut straight down from those little lines, and I'm just going to make a rectangle. I just want my base to be a rectangle, so I'm just going to take the ruler and make it about that size. Save it for next time again, so I'm just placing it on top of the other slabs. Now I'm going to need 2 long rectangles, and I'm just going to speed this up here. These rectangles I will provide for you guys. You'll be rolling a lot of slabs if you're choosing this option, so I'll be sure to roll a couple extra slabs so you'll have these rectangles ready for you. Basically, these rectangles are the sides of the slab vase. Okay, it's gonna go something like that. But for now, we just want to wrap it up until next time. So, one rectangle. This will be my second rectangle. I'm gonna stack it right on top with another dry paper towel, wrap it up a little bit, and we're gonna need to put this in a plastic bag until next class. It's simply way too soft to build, so we're gonna save it for next time. Moving on to mugs or cups. So you guys know the drill. Making a slab, it's a good idea to roll it out on a dry paper towel, continuously flipping it. With the mug template, you can use the ruler, draw a nice straight line to trace it out. You don't have to do this, but it will ensure that it's nice and straight. When you remove your extra clay and the template, you will have a rectangular slab that you will put on top of a styrofoam tray. Save for next time. Roll all your extra clay into a ball. I just kind of like to hammer it out on the table to get a circular shape. Roll it out a little bit. Save that again for next time. So just put it on top of the other slab, on top of dry paper towel, saving your extra clay, putting this into a bag, and saving that for next time. That's all we're doing for step 1. Let's get started.